3,618. So you want to know what 50 comics are worth $50 guaranteed? Watch the video and you'll find out why. Hey everybody, welcome to Comics with Bueller. As always, I'm Bueller. Today we're continuing the series 50 comics worth at least $50 each. There's a lot of reasons why they're worth that much, and we're going to tell you. If you're new to our channel, do me a favor, subscribe right now, and also turn on that notification button because you don't want to miss the next video, and also give it a thumbs up if you like what you see. So we did a ton of research on this list for you guys, so let's run down the criteria. First things first, the sold price of these books are between $50 and $99. We use the most common condition or grade of the book. These are also raw copies of the book, and these are recently sold within the last 30 days, and they are no in particular order. This is also an interactive video. I'd like you guys to follow along. Let me know how many of these books you have in your collection in the comments down below. I'll let you know how many I have at the very end. Like I said, follow along. Let me know which ones you have, how many you have, and how many you might have had at a certain point. We're also going to do something a little bit different as well. We're going to keep a running tally at the end of this video. We'll tell you how much all these books are worth if you had all 50 in your collection. Alright guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and jump into the very first book of the list. We have Spawn number 230. This is a near mint copy of this book, sells for $70. This is the homage to Batman number 423, the famous McFarlane cover that he did. Next book up is none other than Batman number 423. Near mint copies of this book are $87 sold, and like I said, this is that awesome Todd McFarlane cover. Little side note, did you guys know that there is an error on the front of this? If you know what it is, let me know in the comments down below. Moving on to the next book, we have Uncanny X-Men number 141. Near mint copies of this book sell for $90. This is part one of the Days of Future Past storyline, one of my favorites. Next book up on our list is Uncanny X-Men number 142. Near mint copies of this sell for $55. This is part two of Days of Future Past, and honestly, both these books I don't have in my collection, and that doesn't make any sense. Next one up is Usagi Yojimbo number 1. Near mint copies of this sell for $85. Make sure you get the first print of this that came out in 1987. Moving on, we have Venom number 3. Near mint copies of this sell for $80. This is the first appearance of Null, brought to you by popularity from Donny Cates. He's going to make an appearance on this list later. He's got a few going on that are worth some money. Moving on to the next book on the list, this is Omega Men number 3. Near mint copies of this are selling for $70. We have the very first appearance of Lobo. Surprisingly, this one's a little undervalued. Miss Marvel number 1, near mint copies of this sell for $66. This is the first appearance of Miss Marvel in an ongoing series that she had. This one's a lot of fun if you want to pick up this book. It's not very much money, and you know what? I think it's going to go up in value. Iron Man number 128, near mint copies of this sell for $75. This is part 9 of the Demon in the Bottle storyline. This is something they talked about in the movie for number 2, I believe, and honestly, it's an iconic cover, so if you have this one, you're very lucky. It looks awesome. Next book on our list is The Walking Dead number 27. Near mint copies of this sell for $78. This is the first appearance of the Governor. Unfortunately, he didn't last very long, and he was dead a few issues later. Oh man, this next book is one of my favorites. It's the Batman The Killing Joke. Near mint copies of this sell for $70. Make sure it's the lime green lettering. That's how you can tell it's the first print. I'm pretty sure they made about 50 different prints of this book. If you don't have this book, no matter what print it is, you should pick it up. It's one of the best. Moving on to the next one, we have Devil Dinosaur number 1. Near mint copies of this sell for $60. And we also have a first appearance of Moon Boy. Next book up on our list is Amazing Spider-Man number 299. Near mint copies of this sell for $67. This is the first cameo or first appearance, it's up to your opinion, of none other than Venom himself. Very last page, there you go. Moving on to the next book on our list is Eternals number 2. Near mint copies of this sell for $65. There are multiple first appearances in this book, almost too many to list, so I didn't even bother. This one's going to pick up when the movie comes out, so you might want to get this one right now. Next one up is Teen Titans number 12. Near mint copies of this sell for $85. And let's be honest, this is probably one of the most popular books that came out in recent times. This one is the first appearance of none other than the Batman Who Laughs, a great character that's going to be around for a very long time. Next book up is Sweet Tooth number 1, the indie darling. This one is selling for near mint copies at $55. The reason why is because this book has been optioned to make a TV series or movie. I'm not quite sure, but there you go. That option word is thrown out there, and that does make a difference. Batman Vengeance of Bane number 1 is next up on the list. Near mint copies of this sell for $60. This is the famous storyline. Do yourself a favor, make sure you pick up the first print. Next book up is another one of my favorites. This is Incredible Hulk number 340. Near mint copies of this sell for $75. This is the famous Todd McFarlane cover featuring Wolverine with his claws in front of the face, and you can see the reflection of Hulk on there. I love it. I've never had this book, and it doesn't make sense that I have to say that. What a great book. If you have it, you're lucky. Next book up on our list is Marvel Spotlight number 12. Very fine near mint copies of this sell for $70. This is the first full appearance of Satan Hellstrom. I believe that's who the character is. Not too familiar with that one, to be honest, but it is the first appearance. You might want to pick it up because it's worth $70. Next one up, we have Booster Gold number 1. This one, near mint copies of this sell for $60, and I believe this is the first appearance of Booster Gold, another character I'm not tremendously familiar with. Remember when I said Donny Cates would make another appearance? Well, here you go. We have God Country number 1. Near mint copies of this book sell for $56. Make sure on this one also you get a first print, because that's the one you're going to want to get. I believe this might have been an option as well. I might be wrong, but some more Donny Cates goodness. Next one we have Batman Damned number 1. Near mint copies of this sell for $60. The reason why, if you don't know yet, we have multiple appearances of Batman's penis from one panel to the next. There you go. Okay, next one is Spawn number 216. High grade copies of this sell for $90. This is a very low print book, and also the first appearance of Freak, I believe. Kind of a cool character and a great looking cover. Next one we have is Avengers Annual number 10. Near mint copies of this does not seem right, is $95. This is the first appearance of one of my favorite X-Men, Rogue. This should be worth quite a bit more. Unfortunately, it's not. Number 25 on our list is Venom Sinner Take All number 3. Near mint copies of this book are $66 sold. This is the first appearance of the She-Venom, and there you go. We are at the halfway point. How many of these books do you have so far? How many of these books do you have on the next 25 that we're going to share? There's some really great titles, and some of my favorites are coming up next. Let's not waste any more time. We have Wolverine number 1, near mint condition, $80. This is his very first solo series, and I have this one in my collection, and it's one of my pride and joys because it's autographed by Chris Claremont. Next book on our list is what? Wolverine number 1. Near mint copies of this sell for $50. This is his first ongoing series. It's got that great black cover, but this one's kind of hard because you know what? It gets damaged very easily, so trying to find near mint copies of this is very difficult. If you have this one, you got about $50 sitting in your pocket. Moving on, we have Coyote number 11. Near mint copies of this are selling for $65. You're looking at this book and saying, why the hell is this $65? Because this is the very first published work of Todd McFarlane himself. He's making multiple appearances, and why not put his very first published work on the list? He's awesome. There you go, $65, Coyote number 11. Moving on, we have Batman The Dark Knight Returns number 1. Near mint copies of this book sell for $70. This is the first print. Make sure it is the first print. This is also a square bound book, and honestly, when I read this book when it came out, it changed my thoughts about comics in general. It's one of the best. Moving on to the next one, we have Umbrella Academy free comic book day edition. Near mint copies of this book sell for $50 to $5, and this is the only free comic book day edition comic that is on this list. Next up, we have X-Men number 57. Very fine copies of this sell for $80. This is the first appearance of Larry Trask, the Sentinels. That's kind of cool. Great characters. There you go. Next book on there is Marvel Premiere number 47. Very fine and near mint copies of this sell for $95. This is the first appearance of Scott Lang. You might know him as Ant-Man. Moving on, we have Strange Tales number 138. Very fine copies of this sell for $70. Another first appearance, the first appearance of Eternity. Not tremendously familiar with that, but it's selling for around $70. Not too bad. Moving on, we have Batman number 357. Very fine near mint copies of this sell for $80. First full appearance of Jason Todd, and I believe Killer Croc's second appearance. I could be wrong, but that's kind of an important book. You might want to get it. Next book up on our list is John Byrne's Next Men number 21. Near mint copies of this sell for $80. Why, you ask? Right there on the cover. First appearance of Hellboy. Worth it. Moving on again, we have Spawn number 141. Near mint copies of this sell for right there at the $50 mark. We have the very first appearance of She-Spawn. We had She-Venom earlier, and now we have She-Spawn. That's pretty cool. Next one, we have Incredible Hulk number 162. Very fine copies of this sell for $81. We have the first appearance of a Winnebago. That doesn't seem right. Wendigo. One of those, it's in there, it counts, and it's worth $81. Moving on, we have Phantom Stranger number 14. Very fine copies of this sell for $97. This is Neil Adams' prototype to Swamp Thing, from what I understand. Kind of a cool book, maybe something that slipped under people's radar. Next book up, we have Batman Adventures number 16. Near mint copies of this sell for $55. This is the wedding of Joker and Harley Quinn. I wonder if they're still together. You can't get divorced if you don't get married first, and they're halfway there. Okay. Next one up is Spider-Man Noir number 1. Near mint copies of this sell for $89. The reason why is because it's the first appearance of Spider-Man Noir. So there you go, guys. We got 40 books, 10 more to go. I'm looking forward to these final 10. They're honestly some of my favorite books. I can't wait to share them with you. So let's not waste any more time. Number 41 is Ice Cream Man number 1. Near mint copies of this sell for $65. The reason why is because that word option falls on this title. Apparently they're making a TV show about this. I've read this book. Man, if it's anything like that, it's going to be a good one. Looking forward to getting the rest. Next one up is Spawn number 227. Near mint copies of this sell for $90. This is the homage to the Amazing Spider-Man number 300 iconic cover. Can you see the similarities? I struggle a little bit, but if I focus and squint, I see it, and it's worth it. Moving on to the next book, we have X-Men number 51. Very fine copies of this sell for $85. This is the first appearance of Eric the Red, or is it? I don't know for sure, but it's worth $85. Moving on one more spot, the Marvel Spotlight number 7. High-grade copies of this sell for $52. And if you can't afford the first or the second, you can get this one, which is the third appearance of Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze, for a respectable price of just $52. Next one on the list is The Boys number 1. Near mint copies of this sell for $72. If you haven't seen the TV show on Amazon Prime, The Boys, you are missing out, because man, it's a great superhero TV show. And I'm looking forward to season 2, and I have a feeling that this book is just going to go up and up in value. All right, we're on to the final 5, so here we go. We have Batman number 386. Near mint copies of this sell for $60. You're asking yourself why? I'm going to tell you, this is the first appearance of none other than the Black Mask, who I believe was in the new Suicide Squad movie, or whatever that movie was called. It had a few different titles. Harley Quinn, some ladies hanging around. I can't remember. But anyway, this one sells for like 60 bucks. So if you got it, you got 3 20s in your pocket. Moving on, we have Spawn #1. Near mint copies of this sell for $88. You're like, what the hell? Spawn doesn't sell for $88, #1. I've never seen it that high. But if you have the newsstand copy, it's a little barcode down the corner, then you got some money in your pocket, $88 worth, and that's what makes the difference. Moving on, we have Carnage Mind Bomb #1. Near mint copies of this sell for $60. This is the first solo Carnage story and another book kind of made popular by Donny Cates because he liked the book or something like that. I don't know. Before that, it was like a $5 book, but now it's 60 bucks. Moving on, we have Amazing Spider-Man #431. Near mint copies of this sell for $69. Speaking of Carnage, this is the first appearance of Cosmic Carnage. That's interesting. So if you want more first appearances of Carnage, this might be the book you want to pick up. Very final book on our list, and honestly one of my favorites. I say probably one of the best for last. And if you have this one, you're pretty lucky. We have the Joker #1. Near mint copies of this book sell for $90. This is the very first solo Joker series. If you don't have any of these, I believe there was only about 9 or 11 issues. I'm not sure, but all of them look great. They have wonderful covers, but #1 is the one to get. All right, everyone, so that's the list of 50 books guaranteed to be worth at least $50 and more. Let me know how many you had on this list in the comments down below, and I'll tell you how many I had right now. In my collections right now, I have a whopping total of 4 of these books. At a certain time in my collection, I had a whopping total of only 8 of these books. Not a lot. I had quite a few more of the ones $100 and more. Interesting, but you know what? This one does have Marvel, DC, and independent titles, something you guys were asking for from the last video. All right, everybody, like I said, leave that comment down below. Let me know how many you had. I very much appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. I'll see you next time.